Good evening. More than 150,000 Americans have now died in this country's reckoning with COVID-19. And though it's a milestone, a terrible one to be sure, it is neither just a number nor a statistic. It is one parent, one grandparent, a lost child, an absent friend. One less measure of love in the world and many more tears. That times 150,000. I wish I could tell you the president of those 150,000 dead and their families and all of us said something about those deaths today, about the grief that so many families are feeling, but he did not. Today, crossing that miserable milestone of 150,000 deaths, the president ignored it. Nothing about the 197 lives lost in California or the 216 in Florida. When confronted with the civilian casualties of his misbegotten so-called whole-of-government approach to the pandemic, this self-proclaimed wartime president has little to say. Visiting an oil rig in Texas, a state which reported 313 deaths today, the president didn't speak of that, nor did he wear a mask, nor did most people at the event. The president did not acknowledge the lives lost in Midland, Texas, right where he was, nor speak of the Rio Grande Valley, which a woman there, who you'll meet in a moment, who lost both her parents to the virus, calls hell on earth. This is the extent of what he said at the energy company he was visiting in Texas, a state, I remind you, that reported 313 fatalities today alone.
Our hearts are with the people of Texas. We love our people. We love our country. Together we will end the plague from China. We will defeat the virus. I want to thank everyone at Double Eagle Energy.
The president also had nothing to say about the Texas congressman, Louis Gohmert, who was slated to fly with him on Air Force One today. The congressman, who only rarely wears a mask, testing positive for the virus and telling a local Texas news outlet this today.
I can't help but wonder if by keeping a mask on and keeping it in place, that if I might have put some germs, some of the virus onto the mask and breathed it in.
Congressman Gohmert, seen here, we're going to show you the video, walking yesterday with Attorney General Barr. Both men were mask-free on the way into the House Judiciary Committee. I guess we don't have the video. We'll get it to you. The congressman says mask wearing should be a matter of individual choice, which must thrill everyone around him. Two Republican aides who were in proximity telling CNN Chef Zeleny they are only now in line to get tested. One said it has taken all day for reasons unknown, adding it's been frustrating and a waste of a day. And this is Congress, not the country at large, where you'll recall the president back in early March said that anyone who needs a test can get one. Wasn't true then, isn't true now. And beyond boasting about the total number of tests done in this country, he's had nothing to say about whether people can actually get one and get the results back in time to be useful. 2 weeks is meaningless. However, once again, today, he did have plenty to say about this woman who he has praised for her public embrace of hydroxychloroquine. She is a doctor who also preaches about astral projection, alien DNA, and the sperm of demons.
It's what we call astral sex. That means this person is not really a demon or Nephilim. It's just a human being that's a witch. And they astral project and sleep with people.
So that is Dr. Stella Immanuel, who, when she's not preaching about witches and astral sex and demon sperm and alien DNA, is part of a group of Tea Party-sponsored doctors advocating for unproven and, according to a number of legitimate medical studies, potentially dangerous COVID treatments.
I came here to Washington, D.C. to tell America, nobody needs to get sick. This virus has a cure. It is called hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. I know people want to talk about masks. Hello? You don't need mask. There is a cure. I know they don't want to open schools. No, you don't need people to be locked down. There is prevention and there is a cure.
Well, the president retweeted that video of her, as have many COVID deniers and conspiracy theorists. Then last evening, he defended her while perversely also claiming to, quote, know nothing about her. And when CNN's Caitlin Collins pressed him on it, he just ended the press conference and fled the briefing room. He could not, or I guess would not, face any further questioning on his support for this person, the one he likes but, quote, knows nothing about. And today, when asked, again, he made no mention of astral projection or demon sex, but like a man possessed, he was still praising her.
I was very impressed with her and other doctors that stood with her. I think she made sense, but I know nothing about it. I just saw her on, making a statement with very respected doctors. She was not alone. She was making a statement about hydroxychloroquine with other doctors that swear by it. They think it's great. So she was not alone. I was very impressed by her, know nothing about her. I had never seen her before, but certainly you could put her up and let her have a voice. And with hydroxy, all I want to do is save lives. I don't care if it's hydroxy or anything else. All I want to do is save lives. If we can save lives, that's great.
I'm impressed with her, he says. I know nothing about her, he says. It's now been 24 hours, though, and if the president actually did want to know something about this person that he is now promoting on a global stage, he's had plenty of time to Google her or have someone else do it and tell him about her and about the demon sex and the astral sex. Hard to imagine this president's ears wouldn't perk up with those topics. Clearly, what doesn't interest him is medical studies, the actions of his own FDA removing emergency use authorization of the drug she's touting. What clearly doesn't interest the president are his own scientists' guidelines on social distancing or wearing masks, things that actually can save lives, which the president says is all he really cares about. In fact, it seems the only thing that does really interest the president about his scientists is how popular and respected Dr. Anthony Fauci is. He brought it up again yesterday before fleeing from basic questions from Caitlin Collins. He cares about Fauci's popularity because it annoys him. Not his expertise. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't certainly care about his advice, and he certainly doesn't care for the fact that Dr. Fauci reminds the public of the facts about the very drug the president has been touting.
If a study that's a good study comes out and shows efficacy and safety for hydroxychloroquine or any other drug that we do, if you do it in the right way, you accept the scientific data. But right now, today, the cumulative scientific data that has been put together and done over a number of different studies has shown no efficacy. So when there's a video out there for a bunch of people spouting something that isn't true, the only recourse you have is to be very, very clear in presenting the scientific data that essentially contradicts that.
No efficacy, not effective, doesn't work. That bunch of people, by the way, they got an audience yesterday with Vice President Pence. Yeah, the vice president met with them. Not sure if it was in person or if they beamed in via astral projection, but there was a meeting. Don't worry, though, it is all part of the whole of government effort that the vice president always talks about under the strong and decisive leadership, as the vice president always says, of a self-proclaimed wartime president who's continuing his own metaphor, makes no mention of the now 150,000 American lives lost on the battlefield that he himself is absent from.